Hello again, everyone. It's another gorgeous Sunday, and I'm walking down Ensbury Avenue, which is the road I lived in, grew up for 39 years, more of which later. I didn't want to film it, but I've taken a picture of the house I grew up in, and I'll put that in the description, and you can find out a little bit about what's gone on with the alteration of that place. Anyway, this particular road I'm walking down leads to Slades Farm Estate, and in a moment you'll see it literally was just playing fields. And it was attached to Glenmore School on the left, so where you see these first lot houses, they're relatively new. But at this point where this big tree is, was just a farm gate, and we used to walk down and just play. It was just masses and masses of fields, and then to the right there was the Slades farm, where you see combine harvester and just wheat fields, I think, actually. So it's at this point exactly. So an incredible amount of development's gone on. Residential care home, lots of flats, as you can see. The reason I'm doing this particular walk is I want to take you can see the roller skating rink, which was around, I think, in the mid to late 80s. It was just that on its own, and then eventually they built this cycle track thing, velodrome. Glenmore and Winton Academies, that's what it's called now. Okay. It was just a girls' school back in the day. And also, when I get through the other side of the cycle track, I'll take you to the back entrance of Talbot Woods, which I was filming 2 weeks ago, which I frequently walk through, so you can see how it all connects around here. Sorry if it's a bit dull, but again, for any of you who can't get out and want to see a little bit of my surrounding area, then hopefully this will be of some interest. But it is a lovely day again, and it was the last 2 Sundays. It's been the best days of the week so far, which is kind of weird. This farm, by the way, all this area here, this was all fields when I was a lad. I think they started building in the early 80s, mid 80s, something like that. And I think I told you before, we used to go and play in the half-built houses, muck about, so maybe it was earlier than that actually. But over the years they've built more and more. Bournemouth Learning Centre. So how is that not a school? So this section over here is what they used to call Slades Farm Open Space. I think it still is. Oh yeah. Slades Farm Open Space. Skate park. Velodrome. But I can even remember in early 90s, like none of this being here. I think this car park was, and they've still got some of the fields, but I've sort of come the wrong way in, really. So up towards the left there is the woods, and there's a lot of people using this as a dog walk and exercise area. But nothing else is going on, although I suspect there's quite a lot of people skating. So that particular grass bit there was part of the farm, and on the top end of it near the woods was where they had the pigs and hens and what have you. Bloody hell, that's a big tree. We've obviously had to keep quite a lot of the original old trees. I'll only do a very quick look at the skate park. I'm sure anyone that lives in the Winton, Wallasdown area will have seen it before. But as I said, this was built a long time ago. And they've added to it over the years with a few bits and pieces. So I'll walk up to this cycle track. Now I saw this the other day, and because I stopped coming here around about end of the 80s, I used to do some runs around here and what have you. This must have been built in that meantime, because it was definitely not there before, and I hadn't even heard about it until I walked past last week. So it's quite an amazing thing, but obviously it's closed. You can still see it, and I'll try not to make this particular video too long, because I've not got a lot of new stuff to show you at the moment, apart from that little bit of history about where I lived. Main reason I stayed living at home for so long, well, two reasons actually. First of all, I just couldn't afford to move out. I wasn't earning enough money, or at least I thought I wasn't. In actual fact, once it did happen, I managed. But also I had to stay and look after my parents, who needed me to help pay the bills as much as anything. Look after them, take them shopping, etc. And eventually they moved to Spain, sold up, and that was that. Kind of forced my hand, but I'm glad that happened, really. If Andy Wilcox is watching this, he might be interested. He probably knows all about it. So, check this out. Quite amazing. But you can get an idea of this being just all farmland and fields. So where these people are just cycling up here, I'll show you how that connects onto the back of some of the walks I've done through the Talbot village. Sorry if there's a lot of wind noise, I noticed on the last video I did, but it really isn't windy, so maybe it's just the sensitivity of the microphone. But it's very calm today, very hot. Dog exercise area. Yeah. Start of the woods. When I was walking down my old road and I stopped at my house, there's a neighbour over the road I bumped into who was outside working, and we caught up. He's lived there for over 30 years. He was telling me about how many changes there'd been to the housing in that area and the number of people that have come and gone. There's student houses there now. So here we are. This is one of the kind of ways in that I come, normally from the other side, but this is the start of a walk. So I'm going to leave it there because you've seen all the other stuff before and I don't want to bore the hell out of you. But here you are. I'm going to have another one of my long walks and I'll see you again soon.